Welcome.
You're at 109 right now.
This is an opportunity for me to talk about my favorite artist, Jean-Michel Basquiat. I recently happened upon a YouTube video entitled The Problem with Basquiat. And and I'm going to play the audio so you can hear the opinion of this young black um, artist sharing his opinion about Basquiat. And then I'm going to share my opinion or my response to what he had to say. So, the gentleman's name is Michael John McIntosh, young artist, sharing his opinion of Basquiat's work. So, here we go.
I had the urge to talk about Basquiat real quick. Here's the thing about Basquiat, in my opinion, in my experience, based on my research, and based on my experience again as a black male artist. It's not necessarily that I have a problem with him. I didn't know him. I wasn't around during the time, right? All I can really form an opinion on, a critique on, is the work and what has been said about his life, right? So it's not necessarily that I have an issue with Basquiat himself as much as I have an issue with the way he was received, I suppose. And then like the expectations that come out of his success. People have been trying to get me to like Basquiat's work for my entire practice. I suppose the reasoning is, well, he's a black artist that became successful. I'm a black artist. He's a male artist. I'm a male artist. Why wouldn't I like his work? Why wouldn't I like support his career or his practice? And it's because I didn't like the work. I still don't like the work. I tried to, but I don't. Without nepotism, I don't understand his career, to be completely frank. Without him being Andy Warhol's assistant, without him being friends or dating Madonna or whatever they told y'all, uh, I don't know how his work sells for more than $100 million. And God bless him. That's great. But what I'm saying is, as an artist, one, I don't like his work. And two, this is the thing about Basquiat to me. I think some of y'all might not like this, man. But in my opinion, Basquiat achieved success because the people that justified his presence in the art world were mystified by his presence in the art world. I do not believe that it was his artwork. I believe that he was a unicorn because he was a black male in the art world, standing next to people like Madonna and Andy Warhol. And I think without those instances, without those relationships, without photography, Basquiat's work is not positioning him as someone that I'm expected to patronize. And then decades later, again, you have a young black artist like myself, and it's almost like, I remember every time I said I didn't like Basquiat when I was in college and art school, people like clutch pearls that were not on their chest. Like, it was like, clutch the pearls. Like, what? You don't like Basquiat? And for me, it was always just like, did y'all see the work? Y'all saw the work? I also think because black people don't do art, check out at Black People Don't Do Art on Instagram. Because black people have not been conditioned to be in relationship with the arts, I think that at the time that Basquiat became popular, there weren't many black perspectives in the arts. That's what we'll say. And words matter. So I ain't say that for no reason. At the time Basquiat rose to success or popularity, there weren't very many black perspectives in the art world, if any at all. Why is that relevant? perhaps, perhaps, perhaps non-black people in the art world at the time were so respectful and so curious about culture and so mystified by Basquiat's presence that they were justifiably uncomfortable in critiquing Basquiat's work. Maybe they really love Basquiat's work, or perhaps the only people that are in a valid position to critique the content of Basquiat's artwork are the people that it's referring to. Because to Basquiat's credit, a lot of his artwork is talking about black people, culture, which is fine. But who's going to critique that honestly and sincerely? And perhaps present questions that would ultimately make the artwork better, that would ultimately enhance Basquiat's practice. It's not just about saying some shit is whack and then that's just how it went. No, or it could be that, but the opportunity is in critiquing something, being honest and transparent and sincere, but leaving the artwork, the practice, the creator with something that advances future artworks. Perhaps questions like that would have presented themselves if there were more black perspectives in the arts at that time. If you like his work, you like his work, that's great. I'm not here to say anyone's wrong or did or this or that. It's not for me. I don't think he can draw. I think it's whack in general, and it could be for someone else, and that's totally fine. It's just the expectation that I'm supposed to deify Basquiat and his work because I'm a black artist and he's a black artist is like a little bugged out to me. And I've yet to hear a critique on Basquiat's work from a black perspective. Because here's the thing about Basquiat too. It's like because he's the only black person for 1,000, a million miles in the art world, at least at the time, people of indigenous descent that are savvy enough to know who he is deify him in front of the rest of us, and then the rest of us go, oh, this person's deifying this person, so this person is the standard, right? And then you see this person on t-shirts and um, they start appearing in hip-hop songs, they pop up in lyrics and shit, and then artists like myself are expected to deify this person even if their work is whack. In my personal opinion, I see, whether people realize it or not, I see so many like baby Basquiats. Like I'll be like, oh wow, this is like Basquiat, this is like Basquiat, that's like Basquiat, that's like Basquiat, this da, 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 da. And it's like, wow, man, y'all really, really rock with this dude's work. And I don't understand it. That's fine. That's fine. At the same time, I'll be like, wow. Wow. Okay. But yeah, I think nepotism plays such a enormous role in all of this. And it's also a lesson. Basquiat's practice in his career teaches a lot of lessons if you're paying attention. Regardless of if I like the artwork, there's always something to learn from. One of the lessons about Basquiat's career, in my opinion, is pace. Pace. Don't overdo it. And the power of nepotism. And again, like he was a big fish in a small pond inside of a small pond. And as the only black artist that receives general focus in a field that generally lacks general focus, you feel me? You see how I did that? The arts, he can be mystified by people that are unqualified to critique his work. Let me know what y'all think though.
You're at 109 right now. You're at 109 right now.
1 2 1 2. So let me share my thoughts. First off, the gentleman, I believe he made a mistake. He said nepotism, and I believe he meant cronyism. Nepotism is when your family supports you and gives you a job and keeps you employed when you probably aren't competitive enough to even have that, get that position, right? That's nepotism. But then you have cronyism, which is your friends put you in position and help you get that position that you otherwise would not have been able to compete for. For instance, if you go to a particular university and your frat brothers or just regular alumni, um, or is it alumnus or alumnae? I don't know. It's Latin. I should brush up on my Latin. Um, when those people help you, people who are not your family, but those people who rock with you, as you know, as we say, or as they say in today's nomenclature, vernacular, if they fuck with you, those people that do, then when they help you, that's called cronyism. So in the case of Basquiat, I think the gentleman who was speaking, Michael John McIntosh, I think he meant cronyism. All right, just to clarify, because it was Andy Warhol. It was his. It was Andy Warhol that brought Basquiat in. Basquiat put himself in position, but once Warhol, took notice of him, then he brought him in to the art world, and then from there on, Basquiat positioned himself, and had, you know, friends, relationships with important people, right? They became his cronies, so to speak, as it were. I could be revising history, but these are my free thoughts on the matter. And I certainly don't want to misinform. So please do your research, um, and form your own opinion. I'm holding a copy of Basquiat Isms, edited by Larry Warsh. Warsh. All right. And I'm particularly looking for a quote from Basquiat, which said something to the effect, it's all about who you are on which corner, on which street corner you stand on, or something. I hope I'm not misquoting Basquiat and actually, you know, or attributing a quote from Jay Z and, attributing it to Basquiat because I can't find it. I'm typing it in, but I can't find it on Google. But anyhow, the gentleman says that Basquiat's artwork, basically doesn't merit um, the praise and the value that is placed on it. And he says that he was a unicorn and he didn't have the skills. He said, look at his artwork and he lacks the skills. But you know what the artist said? You know what Basquiat actually said about his art and about his yeah, just about his career? Like, let me choose one of these quotes here. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Let me choose this one. Whoa, here we go. We'll just start at number 10, shall we? What a convenient place to start. I'm looking at this article from anothermag.com on the computer, and it lists 10 Basquiat quotes, and we're going to start with number 10, right?
You're at 109 right now.
All right, number 10 says, at that point, an artist was somebody who could draw, but my ideas have changed since then. Now I see an artist as something a lot broader than that. Let me speak to that quote from Basquiat himself, and it's Basquiat, not Basquiat. Okay, Basquiat. No, Basquiat. All right. So Basquiat is communicating ideas in his artwork, and it's those ideas that resonated with me when I saw his work. I was like, wow. Yes, there was a part of me that said, man, what is this? This dude just scribbled on some pages or what have you, and that's it. But I didn't stop there. I didn't stop to say, "Oh, that's whack." No, I went further into my exploration of Basquiat, probably because he was the only black artist that I knew at that time, like, or that I could even, or that I was curious about. Let's say that. I didn't see many of us. I didn't see many representations. And because the world over, you know, embraced Basquiat for better or for worse, as this young man, as Michael said, you know, he's basically saying Basquiat is what, overhyped, right? But no, personally, I found value in Basquiat's art, in his work. There were things that resonated with me and spoke to me, even from the beginning, even though I did have those feelings like, wait a minute, this is just like chicken scratch on paper. And then upon reading, or even before, well, yes, I did do some research online, but then I also got a copy of Downtown 81 from the Beverly Hills Library because I wanted to watch that, because at the show, at his exhibit, at the exhibition, um I think it was in 2004, 2005. Well, they showed clips of interviews with Basquiat, and they showed clips of Downtown 81, but they didn't show the whole movie. So I wanted to do my research. I wanted to see the whole thing. That's the thing about me. I have to do my research. I've got to learn more about something. I can't just make a judgment base, look at a few works of art from, someone, or listen to a few songs from someone, and then, pass judgment on them. Like, who does that? Unless they're just trying to get likes and be provocative and stir the pot, and all this other type of stuff, you know. So I did a lot of due diligence. I got copies of Downtown 81. I listened to the Downtown 81 soundtrack. I listened to Beat Bop. Um yeah, I got into it, and quite honestly, I was intrigued, and um and because I hadn't heard anything about Basquiat from anyone. I shared what I had learned, because for me it was a bit of a secret. I was like, man, nobody's talking about Basquiat. He's something else. Something else. I liked him because, his work resonated with me. I could see that he was um elevating, black entertainers and athletes, by crowning them. I could see that, and I could appreciate that. And for him to be a black artist and have a show in downtown LA, that was big, at the Museum of Contemporary Art. That was big to me. So that impressed me and that resonated with me. So I shared that information with my cousin Carlos. I said, "Hey man, you got to check out Basquiat. He's dope," you know. And my cousin Carlos, listened. And a few years later, he came back to me and said, "Yo, Larry, remember that artist you were telling me about?" He said, "Man, I've been hearing rappers mentioning him in their rhymes." So when the rappers started mentioning him, and that was a revelation, a revealing, or rather a big up, you know. saying kudos or touche, you know, um, to Basquiat. It was confirmation, confirmation that hey, there's something here. There's something that Basquiat did. And maybe if Michael is right, if Basquiat didn't do anything, um, if his artwork doesn't merit the attention that it has garnered because it lacks, I don't know, skill and whatnot, then maybe it's not the art itself, but what ideals his art connotes and what ideals people have received from his artwork. People like Jay-Z, Kanye West, the late Nipsey Hussle, hmm, perhaps even De La Soul. I can't think of rappers I've heard of mention Basquiat in their lyrics pre 2005. I can't. I never heard them. I had never heard anyone mention his name. But yeah. But back to his let's go to number 9, the quote number 9.
You're at 109 right now.
So we read quote 10. Let's look at quote 9. It says, I don't listen to what art critics say. I don't know anybody who needs a critic to find out what art is. There it is. Basquiat right there defending himself. So this dude, Michael John McIntosh is critiquing Basquiat. And Basquiat said, yo, I don't know anybody who needs a critic to find out what art is. And that's the point. The artwork resonates with you. You don't need someone to tell you what's art. You don't need someone to explain it to you. You feel it in your soul. And art exists for art's sake. Man, that's the trippy thing about all of this. So it's, it is what it is. But I still rock with Basquiat, and I'm happy to have purchased a ticket to the show at the Grand LA. Basquiat's King Pleasure exhibit will commence on March 31st. That's in about what is that? 17? About 2 weeks, 17 days. So get your tickets, people, and get on out there and enjoy some artwork from Jean-Michel Basquiat. All right. Thanks for listening.
You're at 109 right now.
Peace and blessings.